Welcome, Gille, to the Rustenburg podcast.
Sanbonani molweni. Hey, goeiemiddag. We're back again with your podcast, Rustenburg podcast. Welcome to the RGJS podcast. And today I've got exciting news. Today I'm very excited about this opportunity. In a school environment, we never really tap into this profile, but today we just want to say we want to get into a space where we've never really tapped in, and who knows what a business manager does at a school. So ladies and gentlemen, boys and girls at home, welcome Leon Moser with me. Hi Leon.
Hi Chapela, good afternoon.
How are you?
Yeah, good, thanks. Yeah.
Good. And we've got someone in studio with us, by the way, so don't be shocked when you hear the voice.
Hello, everybody.
How are you, Sonella?
I'm good. How are you?
Good. Nice. Thank you very much for joining us. I'm not driving this alone. At least I've got a co-pilot. How are you,
I'm
Sonella?
good. I'm great. It's good to be here. And I'm looking forward to the conversation today. So my name's Asonele Kotu. I'm from Rustenburg alumni, and it's amazing to be here today. And I look forward to the conversation.
Yeah. Do you know what a business manager does at a school?
I never even knew that there was a business manager at school. So I am sure many people are like, there's schools with business managers.
Yeah.
Quite interesting to know more.
Okay, cool. Let's get into it. Leon Moser, let's first start. What does a business manager do at a school?
Well, Chapela, I think the main role of a business manager is to take the business aspects away from the educators and actually let them focus on educating. So I think we've been dealing with all the non-academic aspects at the school and sort of, ensuring the school is financially sustainable, managing the finances and all the other aspects. So I think also this session today is something different for us. We normally in sort of in the back office churning the numbers. So it's really taking me out of my comfort zone.
Yeah.
And, it's not actually my cup of tea, but I think it's been good because it's been giving me time to reflect. And often when you move on, you just move on without reflecting on your time. So I think, thanks for the opportunity.
Yeah. So you'd say to me, you're responsible for knocking on those parents and say, pay school fees because we have to pay salaries. What's you mean?
Exactly. I think the bursar, Mrs. Cornelia, she does all the fees and collection of fees, and it is a very important role. It does keep the finance of the school sound, and I think we rely on parents to contribute and pay fees timelessly.
Now that you've explained what a business manager does in a school, I want to take it back from where Leon is from. From where did the passion start actually with regards to numbers?
Chapela, I think I grew up in a small town in the Karoo on a farm, so it was about 40 kilometers east of this little town on the N1 on the way to Johannesburg. And if I were to tell you that the famous heart surgeon grew up there as well, you'd probably guess the place. And we're both at West. So it's a very small town. So I spent my formative years on a farm, in fact. And my mother was a teacher, so my first two years of school I actually spent on the farm being homeschooled.
Wow.
Which I think, looking back, are probably the best 2 years of my schooling.
Yeah.
Because you got quite involved in, being able to take time off, go farming, when the sheep needed shearing, you got involved in all that. So, and from there, unfortunately, my dad passed away when I was quite young, so we had to sort of sell the farm, and my mum moved to Cape Town. And finished going to school down the road at Westerford, my last 3 years, and that's actually where where I suppose I started taking more an interest in accounting. I think those times were quite tricky, because I had come from a small town, a big farm, 5,000 hectares, which in the Karoo terms is very small. To come into a little flat in Rondebosch, you have the rain like we have today, and you don't get rain in the Karoo, so there's quite a bit of adjusting, and then I think looking back, I suppose in those days you had career guidance, which was quite a big thing, and I think they suggested I go into accounting, and that's how I ended up in accounting.
Okay, cool. Quite interesting that you're moving from the farm and into the city. But would you say today, where are you mostly likely to enjoy your time during a vacation? Are you a city person, or are you still like the farms and all of that?
No, but I still do enjoy going out in the countryside. So
Yeah.
I'm more of a mountain person than a sea person.
Yeah.
And I think a lot of people don't to just drive through the Karoo don't appreciate the beauty and I think the lifestyle one has there. Unfortunately, you don't get around to it too often, but it really is something to get used to. So I'm more going out in the countryside.
Yeah.
Actually quite interested in finding out. So, how do you end up being in a school and after studying or going into purely accounting at that time and ending up into how does it take you to where you are today, and how long have you been in this position?
Well, I joined in 2017, so I've been here about 7 years. It's amazing how time flies. Essentially, I qualified, as I said, and then I went overseas and worked overseas for a year and did what a lot of South Africans do at that time, or did, traveled through Europe for a year. And when I came back, I happened to get a position in Mossel Bay, which was the startup of Mosgas, which was at the time a company that was started forming just before the first democratic elections in 1994. So I joined in 91. It was a very progressive company. It was a company that actually looked after its staff. Everybody had the same conditions. There was a sort of air of commonality. And then I think after being there about 10 years, I was transferred to Cape Town. So I spent a lot of time in finance. I ended up running the treasury at PetroSA. And in 2016, I got the opportunity to take a package. So I left the company, and then I was at home for a while, sort of just taking it easy.
Yeah.
My daughters had been at they started off at Oakhurst actually, which is I suppose a similar school, much smaller in Rondebosch, and then the youngest one went to Rustenburg, and I was always on their governing bodies. Well, not always, but I ended up on the governing bodies. I found that on the girls' schools, the parents don't get quite as involved as the boys' schools, and that's why I decided to kind of try and help the girls' schools. So at the time I was at the high school on the governing body, and then this position became available. And I think at the time it's probably a good fit in that I'd been on the governing body, so I had a good appreciation of schools, and that's how I ended up here.
Wow.
So it was a bit of a roundabout way, but so I think for me, obviously the financial aspect was pretty much that I'd done all the time, but for me a new thing was actually taking, I suppose, responsibility for the campus, the non-financial aspects, which was a new and challenging thing. So I did learn quite a bit coming here as well, in terms of broadening my career and having different aspects to consider.
And quite interesting, you mentioned the difference between fundraising when it comes to girls' schools and boys' schools, and we hear that a lot. And it's amazing that you picked it up as a dad to a daughter that is in a girls' school. But what do you think is the reason for that? Because we often hear it a lot. I work with alumni, and they often tell me, but the boys' school are raising so much money to support the school, but with the girls' school, it's a bit different. Is it a gender thing? I don't know what it is. Like, it's so different.
I mean, we struggle about that, and we have conversation as marketers about boys' school
versus
support.
Yeah.
Well, I think things are changing, fortunately, for in the right way. In that, I think in the past, going long back, obviously women perhaps didn't get the positions and recognition they had at the time in the workplace, and therefore boys' schools always have this sort of old boy network where they have access to more funds, and I think they can provide more funding to schools in terms of their bursaries and bequests and those kind of things. So I think that's one of the aspects. But as I say, I think I've noticed at this school particularly, though, I don't think that's the case anymore. I think parents are getting much more involved, and I think even the fathers are getting, what I've noticed, quite a bit more involved. And I've seen in some of the projects we've done, we've had tremendous parent involvement in assisting the school and putting in a lot of effort, kind of pro bono, which has really been beneficial to the school.
Yeah, sure. One of the things that I and now I want us to talk about the memories that you've had at Rustenburg in the past 7 years you've been here. But one of the things when I joined in the school and I asked, I needed to go certify my documents at the police station. And I said, where do I certify my documents? And then they said to me that you can go to the BESA's office and ask Leon to satisfy your document. You often get that question. Someone coming, can you satisfy my document? Because I know the police, they do get that a lot.
Yeah.
What are your fondest memories at Rustenburg?
Well, I think you're right. You know, I think people are going to miss me. I think they're going to remember me as the commissioner. In fact, you know, just before coming, I had two of the students come in and say so I said, come back next Friday. You know, but anyway, so that has been something where I've been able to assist, and you know, I think it has been good. You know, I think you have to keep explaining to people though that you can only certify an original. You know, you can't certify things. But anyway, that has been quite good. I must say I've had a lot of memories. I can't really say I've got one main memory, but you know, going back to I think even when I came the first time to interview, I met Maggie Jacobs, who was the former foreman, and she was a bit of an institution here. And when I came in, I saw her, and then coming from schools, and I knew, you know, this is the unofficial interview committee. You know? You know, so Maggie and I, you know, I worked very closely with her, and you know, when I went into office for the first time, she had a photo of a house up on a wall. So I said, so where in the Karoo do you come from? Because I could see it was a Karoo house. Yeah. You know? And strange enough, she came from Prince Albert, which is about 150 kilometers from Beaufort.
Sure.
And I think those are the kind of little things, you know, if you find something that's common to people, you can build a tremendous relationship. So she became a very good friend, and I think she was a good sounding board. I think if I wanted to, you know, if ever I wanted to kind of say, well, what do you think? Then she would give me her advice, and she was a very perceptive person, and so I really enjoyed working with her. So that was a good memory. She's unfortunately retired now, and I think she's enjoying it.
Yeah.
And then I think also, you know, been lots of wonderful music concerts. You know, Henny and the music department have done tremendous work.
Yeah.
I think the sport, the arts, culture, and the academics, I think it's all been, you know, I mean, it's been very good. You know, I often think when I go to the bathroom to wash my hands after lunch, and I see Rina there with a muskanda and teaching the little kids, and they're all jumping around. I think, geez, you know, it's tremendous, you know. So I can still imagine. I'll still remember her, you know, bouncing around like a frog. And you know, I often wonder though, you know, if when I was that young, if I had that opportunity, you know, maybe I'd be more musically talented.
Wow.
You know, but unfortunately not. You know, and then I think also, as I mentioned, you know, the parent involvement. I remember. At one stage, there was a yoga classes in the hall presented by a parent, and so that was also out of my comfort zone. You know, being the only man there with all the teachers. And then so I think the as I say, the parents have been very very forthcoming in terms of helping. I think that mother gave her time freely to staff to you know, to do yoga. You know, and we've had parents involved in the solar project, as you know, which has taken a lot of strain off the school during load shedding, which seems to be temporarily fine.
It's after the 29 we're recording this. Maybe load shedding is coming. We don't know. But anyway,
anyway, we're ready for it. So I think parents have been tremendously involved, and I think they saved the school a lot of money by that. So I think those are the kind of memories I've had. You know, we've also had some interesting experiences. We've had the fire in 2021.
Sure.
We've had the one roof blowing off. So it really has been something different for me.
No, I must say, from someone who only started joining the school environment from 2021, and this is actually so weird that I enjoy this part, Leon, when I'm in my office and I hear a bell and I hear children playing and there's noise, and I'm like, I want to be in that space. You know, exactly. It's like, and it's speaking about the fact that this now becomes an end of the journey for you. Is it tomorrow?
It'll be tomorrow, but I'll still be coming in for a couple of Fridays to wrap things up.
I mean, where to from here after, literally, as you walk out of the store on the 31st?
So it has been a sad time. I think today trying to pack things up and get the office sorted out. I'd actually intended to kind of retire and finish my career at Rustenburg, but I think one of the mothers who had previously been on the governing body here is at Springfield, and she approached me to see if I could help them set up a business management function there. So I'm going to really be consulting there for a period, and then they will look at replacing the position with a permanent position. So it's going to be more, stepping out, going into a bit of consulting, and so I'll still be around. I'm not going.
Quite big shoes to fill, I must say, and I'm hoping and I'm crossing fingers for the Rustenburg interview committee or whoever that's responsible to make sure that we fill those. It's a huge gap. I think losing you, Leon, I don't know where we'll find another Leon, or if there is any.
It kind of feels like usually you guys are in your office and you doing your stuff there, but then the magnitude of you guys of the work that you do is quite big, because you keep the house operational. Yes. You keep the lights on. You make sure that everything is flowing smoothly. And it's only at a point where you actually start to look at this office and you're like, this little office actually keeps this machine going around. And that's the big part of the job that you do. You've been keeping this house in order. And that's why Tapela is saying it's big shoes to fill, because people might take it for granted and say, we don't see you in the classroom, but your job is to man the house and make sure it's standing so that there is a classroom. So it's amazing if you look at it from that way, because you sometimes find that people on the admin side of school, school activities usually feel like you're not fully part of the school, but you are.
Underlooked.
But you are. You are a huge part of the school.
No, I think it's an integral part, but I think it's not around one person. I think it's a team, and I think it's the team of the whole school working together. So, I think the idea is that the finance office, the current two, the bursar and the assistant, are all skilled, and I think they'll keep things going. So I think it's really. I've just been kind of the person that's pulled it a bit together, but I think he'll survive. I think he'll be fine. Nobody's irreplaceable. So
you're just a call away. Leon, now I think probably we'll come towards the end of our interview, but I want to know, when it's all said and done, when you finally say, I am retiring, I am done, and that's it, it's done. How would you like to be remembered?
Yeah, Tapela, that's quite an interesting question. Well, I think I'll be remembered, as you said, as the Commissioner of Oaths at school. I think the other lasting one, I think would be more from the outside, is the man who came to school on a bicycle.
When I Google Rustenburg, there's a picture on the news that you were actually in a bicycle coming inside.
Yeah. I was about to say, Tapela, I think that was in, about 2018 or 19, when I think the school was going through quite a lot of transformational issues and a lot of bad publicity, and I think since then, we've kind of ridden the storm. I think we've come out better, and I think the school is a much better transformed place now. But I was about to say, I think they took the photo from the back. I don't know if they thought that was my better view, but in fact, that's when we needed the spin doctor, Tapela. Now you came a couple of years too late. Now you think podcast is sorting out the press, but. But anyway, I think on a more serious note, I think I'd like to be, I'd like to think that I've been fair, fun and focused in terms of keeping the finance department going, and that I've been considerate and kind to people, to the staff. I think, I've played a role, with the team in terms of managing the sustainability of the school. I've done a couple of big projects, but mainly contributing to team efforts. I don't think it's, one main thing, and I'd also like to think that I made a difference in the lives of our colleagues. I think that's the main thing. And I think I'm leaving the school in hopefully a slightly better place. When I came in, the previous business manager had left, and there was a void for about 4 months, and it was quite tricky, to kick it off then. I must say, I've also got, I think going back to Asanele, saying how do you move from a corporate into a school. I think when I came, I said there was no business manager for 4 months. And so one Friday afternoon, one of the teachers walked in and wanted to know what a budget was. And I was new, and I think the two ladies I didn't really know. So I scratched around and tried to find out what, Eventually I said, look, I don't know, I can't find, you have to come back. But how much do you want to spend, And the teacher who's since left said 100 Rand. So I said, no, look, I think not, go spend your 100 Rand, when previously I'd be used to like rounding off in like millions, anyway. So, but I think the teachers really do a tremendous role, and I think they, I must say, they're much more focused and task orientated than I think some of us. But I think so. I think they really are the ones who kept the school going, and kept the standards high. So I think that's just a little anecdote from my first Friday afternoon,
Cool. Leon, thank you very much for your time. Thank you very much for serving Rustenburg for the past 7 years. Heartfelt messages from staff members. I think your contribution to the school has just been immensely great. In no way did I think you've been here for 7 years. I thought you were here for quite a long time. And just thank you for holding our hands and taking those tough decisions. Sometimes we don't like, but we see the greater benefit at some stage. I think I can speak for myself and Pam. I know you're very close to Pam, or you are very close to Pam. And just thank you. And I see the energy with the bike and motivating some of us to okay, you guys need to get into running, needs to get into doing marathon. I'm yet to still do mine, a little bit of marathon as well. So, but thank you very much. I think we really appreciate all the efforts and the time you've put into Rustenburg.
Thanks to Bello. I must say I really have enjoyed my time here, and I'm sad to be going. To be honest, it was a very big decision to actually go off and start consulting now, as opposed and leaving the school at this point. But as you said, I'm going to be around, and I wish the school all the best for the next 130 years. That really is, it's been tremendous being part of a school that's actually been celebrating its 130th birthday. So, it is sad to go, but I suppose there's always something new, and I think opportunities for people who come in. But as you say, I'm a call away, and I wish you all the best, and thank you for the podcast.
Thank you. Leon Moser here with me, our business manager. I do catch the next podcast too. I like the format. I like this new format where we have some Asanele there. And the big thank you to our camera lady as well. Out of here.